This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker starts now.
Motegi, Japan. It's known as an auto enthusiast paradise. Rolling hills, the Nissan proving grounds, a Honda museum, and one of the most unique auto racing facilities on the planet. Built in 1997, this dual-track complex hosts a rare road course that dips primarily outside of the main facility. However, it's the oblong oval that has long been the star, attracting American open-wheel racing and even once NASCAR. In fact, it was here where Dale Earnhardt first raced his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr., in a NASCAR Cup car. But none of that nonsense tonight. We celebrate the glorious IndyCar history of the twin-wing Motegi with a car that surprisingly never even raced in this country. Don't you worry about that either. I'm about to show you how cool it really could have been. This is round 5 of the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by Butt Kicker, the Sim Experience 175 from Twin Ring Motegi, and it's live and next right here on the iRacing Esports Network, brought to you by Global Sim Racing Channel. Konnichiwa, I'm Jason Galvin, joined tonight by the man they call Yaz, Brian Yazik. I'm Jed Yaman, calling the shots with the cameras tonight from Dougie Beard, and this is the Sim Experience Countdown to the Green. Yaz, Motegi, one of our favorite racetracks between you and I think, to drive on because it is so unique with the two different ends in this car. Really creates an interesting concept around this track.
You're absolutely right, Jason. And for you NASCAR fans at home, that we did bridge that gap in there a little earlier with Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. racing each other. Actually, and Dale Jr. gave Sr. the bumper in that race that Mike Skinner actually won. All of those facts will win you bar trivia somewhere down the road in your life. So if you are a NASCAR fan and you're watching this race and you think, well, how does this track race? What is it like? We're going to send you to the track guide here in a second, but if you look at it on the screen right there, it's going to look a lot like a Darlington, kind of that egg-shaped oval. The track races very similar to that. It's just if you took Darlington, you took a roller pin to it and you stretch it out, you flatten it out a little bit. We're going to send you here to the lap guide on this 1.59 mile oval, 10 degrees of banking in the corners. Send you to the lap guide, show you just what we mean here. Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazik, taking you for a spin around the Twin Ring Motegi Oval Circuit in the GSRC Lotus 79. Here we go. Without further ado, down the front stretch, very, very wide. Bringing it straight down here to the bottom, into 1 and 2. We kind of hooked that white line right on the bottom. Make sure that you don't bring it off that, shooting sparks out the back, making it look old school and cool. Down there, out of turn 2, keeping it real low. If you drift it up to the fence, you're just costing yourself probably upwards of about a tenth. And especially with how close the qualifying can get on the oval side, that could be everything. Down here into turn 3, take a little bit of a later entry because of the way that the corner is done. It's a little bit of a sharper radius than 1 and 2. Down the front stretch again, you see this track is probably 7 cars wide, and you could see them every bit that far wide here in this race. After lap 1, you could see guys maybe move up a little bit, especially if you're trying to make a run on somebody or the air is kind of disturbed in front of you. Try to bring it up just a little bit more, and then get your draft down the back stretch. Down here in turn 3, once again, don't let it get too high here. You'll see the track, it looks wide in the corners, but the banking and the grip level just isn't there up at the top. Off of turn 4, down here on this very long front stretch, very wide, across the line. That is going to complete our guide here around the Twin Ring Motegi Oval Circuit. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show. That track guide, as well as the entire countdown to green, is brought to you by Sim Experience, the team behind the AccuForce Pro V2 direct drive steering systems. By promoting unparalleled realism and the most advanced turning features on the market, the AccuForce provides a significant advantage to any sim racer. It can also make for an effective training tool for real-world drivers. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including their GS5 seat, Stage Series, motion systems, and SimVibe software, visit www.simexperience.com and check it out. We got a promo code because we're awesome. 5% off using the Lionheart code of SimXLion.
Love Sim Experience. Love all the sponsors that have jumped on board the Lionheart series this year. They're 4 wide in practice.
Yeah, I've been watching. These boys
that didn't work very well right there.
I think they all watched. They must have watched a Best of Larry and Tyser video there. They're all just sending it.
Oh boy, let's hashtag send it. I think we're going to say that more than once tonight. Let's take a look at the championship standings now that we're through 4 rounds. A good time to start to kind of gauge where we're at as far as the championship battle goes. And it is Sage Karam leading the way despite being wrecked out at Phoenix last week along with Dustin Wardlow there when Dylan McKenna spun out of the lead. Ryan Otis sits 20 points back in second and has been very strong even on ovals so far, which was kind of his Achilles heel 2 years ago when he lost to Jake Wright. George Sandman sits there in third. Look at Chad Dalton all the way up to fourth, moved up 6 spots. And then it's James Paulson rounding out the top 5. Mark Cohn, the winner last week, is the big mover in the point standings, up 15 spots to the 7 hole. However, he's 70 points back. And there's a lot of really good drivers as you look through. Alex Saunders in 9th, Dustin Wardlow in 10th, Travis Jaeger-Leonard in 11th. Drivers who are race-winning caliber and championship caliber who have a lot of ground to make up, and this would be a good time to do so. As we take a look at the team championships now here in the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker, and of course the team championships brought to you by Plasma-Tracks.com. Don't forget that dash in there. Raven Motorsports Black, Ryan Otis, James Paulson, and Dustin Wardlow. Of course, Raven Motorsports, the defending overall team champion with moi on the team last year. Still proud of that moment. NLR Sim Racing sits second thanks to that big win from Mark Cohn. Some strong runs so far by Finian and Joe Hasser as well. And Firefly Racing sits in the 3rd spot. Hey, Frank Bieser was our driver profile last week. Yaz, I don't know if you know this because I know you were out with some training. Frank Bieser picked up his first career top 10 in the Lionheart series.
I saw that because how this all bridged together, I was sitting in the hotel room watching y'all because I know Soup was keeping the seat warm for me. And I was watching that, and
Richie,
I saw
Richie.
Or it was Richie, not Soup. I'm sorry. But and I saw him talk about
Richie's
Frank, and I'm like, man, I'm sure he would. And I thought, man, they just jinxed that poor boy. Because then I was watching a race this past weekend, and someone said, oh, well, the commentator's curse doesn't exist. And I thought, man, we got a whole group at GSRC that'll show you, no, that exists. So good for Frank getting up there. Last week was a great show. I mean, you thought you saw everything, and then that race just kept unfolding and turning and coming around that corner. You thought, God, what the heck is going to happen next? Now we come to Motegi. And I don't know if you've been seeing in the background, but these guys have been 3, 4, 5 wide in practice. That's the kind of effect that these cars have with those ground effects and that big old rear wing that's just kicking off a big draft. Jason, you and I both raced this race last year. I mean, it's nuts.
It's wild. No, this was one of my favorite races last year for sure. And let's take a look at the weather for this weekend if we can, because weather is something that's going to kind of play in a factor here now that we have the changing, evolving weather. Of course, the Lionheart series does not use evolving weather, but they do use evolving skies. And that could be a big deal as this race goes on. See the track temp at 91 right now, air temps at 84, wind going east at 14. Not really a big deal, but partly cloudy is key, as because if the clouds sneak up later in the race or they go away, there's really only one passing point in this track, and it's turns 3 and 4, and it can either make you really tight or really loose. It could really play a factor on you here in this race. Series details brought to you by our friends at minus 273 as we are qualifying right now for the Sim Experience 175. This is the third season of the Retro Series in round 5 of 18. Pair of drops, that's what those water drops are there. We got really creative, so if you haven't figured that out, I've now spoiled it for you. This is the Lotus 79, like Yaz just talked about. It's an adjusted fixed setup. What does that mean? It means that Andrew Kinsella and his team do a great job of coming up with setups that are fixed, but have quite a bit of variance and allow for some driver play as well. And a total of $7,600 and a little bit of change on the line between cash and the value of prizes here this year. And how about Ryan Otis right now? Yeah, sitting on top of the board ahead of Sage.
Oh! You got a new name on top of the board. Look at that on your screen. Purple George Anzaldo. Now we talk about new names on top of the board. Let's talk about new names in the series. The Rookie of the Year battle here. Really quick, we can get those brought up here on your screen. You see Joshua Gavin slowing down after his run. You got Sage Karam. I know Sage and Rookie, you know, that's kind of weird. And then you got George Sandman. Again, Sandman, Rookie. That doesn't quite add up either. But you see there, 53 points separating those guys, 56 back to Dalton in third, Jenkins fourth, the Watchman, Mark Cohn in fifth. We're kind of excited on a personal note. We were able to scoop him up on LPM for the remainder of the Lionheart IndyCar series. So
we just
round that out a little bit. Yeah, you know, it's what we do up here. Taft Baldwin, Finney Ducana, and Block there in sixth. And Block has had some really good runs, too. I think he's just been kind of unfortunate, wrong place, right time sort of situation. As his kind of season has unfolded. But yeah, this is, I mean, you're talking, this is some separation here. You got about a 10th back to 11th on top of the board. This is Steven Schlacker. It's a beautiful looking car there. It must be a new scheme for Stefan there. The white, the blue, the little number thing, or the whiteouts around the number.
Things. I love the number things.
Yeah, the number things.
The number things are my favorite.
Words are hard. Oh, a little bit of apron there. And then probably the best paint scheme if we jump around to. He's on his second lap right now. Steven's gonna finish his. Words are hard still. There it is, Dean Mardi Gras Mall. I mean, if you're new to the series, Dean basically took the template for the car, handed it to his daughter inside of the paint program and said, go nuts. And it's not the first time he's done it. It's a great story, and I don't care if you've heard it. I love the story because it keeps, you know, it's a great story. Jason, I'm sure, you know, when your son gets old enough, you'll probably do the same thing for him.
Let him paint one of my cars?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, we'll see how the good folks at Global Electronic Technology do. As Joe Hazard likes to call them. I'd like to thank my race sponsor, also known as my life sponsor. They're gonna have to have a final say. But seeing as how these are the adopted child of the global racing teams already across the board, I think we could probably get away with that one.
Probably. And now that we're getting wrapped up with qualifying here, really quick, let's do a quick highlight of the race details here before we start reading off the grid. They got a lap. We can get time. Really quick here in the race detail. Oh, we've already done it. Jason beat me to it. Good job. So we're gonna go.
Yeah,
from
I jumped the
there.
gun. Yep, my bad.
It was
Actually, I
series
was
of
late.
details.
Look, this is welcome to the 2019 Retro Series, folks. All right, if you're tuning in and you're thinking to yourself, man, where are Soup and Richie? Wait until we get to about lap 10. You may be calling Soup and Richie.
Yeah, you'll be begging them to like, hey guys,
In all seriousness, Yaz and I are excited. This is crazy because Yaz and I are supposed to be the commentary crew for this series all year. We love this series, and this is the first race we've done together since the All-Star race. Welcome to real life.
Well, and it was funny because you missed a couple because of race or for real life, and I gave you grief for that.
Yeah.
And then I started a new job, and I had to miss last week when you were available.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I had a couple real life TV gigs, and Brian was like, "Oh, yeah, you're big shot TV guy over there." And then all of a sudden, Brian got himself a real life job, and now all of a sudden, Brian's Mr. Real Life Banker over there. That's what we're gonna start calling you. I'm gonna call you the Banker.
I'm cool with that. You can bank on me to get this broadcast started here. So we're going to jump right into the qualifying order. George Ansaldo on pole. That's an amazing one. 32.034. Say Ryan Otis to his outside with a 32.035. That makes up your front row. Jason, we're going to read them off here.
Yeah, Sage Karam and Joshua Gaiman in row 2. Chris Lanini, Lionel Callisto in row 3. Mark Cohn, Big Joe Hassert in row 4. Mike Rigney, Pat Dotson, who's I think the newcomer to this, right? Isn't he's the one who works for Sim Experience?
Yeah, well,
Pat starting in the top 10 in his first race here in the Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker. And he's doing so in his own company's race. That's pretty darn cool. Yes.
We'll bring that around a little bit later on in the race. Scott Holmes in the inside of row 6 with David Clymer to his outside. Taff Baldwin 13th with Dean Marty Grawmal 14th. Justin Kirby 15th with Dustin Wardlow, a name that if you pay any attention to the Lionheart series, that name is not new for you. Tyson Landis 17th. Paul Jenkins to his outside. James Paulson on the inside of row 10 with David Altman in the 20th spot.
Alrighty, let's take you through the back half of this field. Ron Hacker, Chad Dalton, row 11. Adam Young, JP Winshittle in row 12. George Sandman, Eric Block in row 13. Then it's Ryan Corns and Frank Bieser. Stefan Schlocker, the GSRC broadcaster in his spare time. And Cody Eldred gets you through row 50.
And we're going to just sweep this one out here in row 16. You got Robert Blue in 31st, Travis Jagerliner 32nd, Dylan McKenna 33rd, and Ken Hacker all the way shotgun on the field, getting an EOL penalty for I would assume some from Phoenix.
Had something to do with last week. Yeah, it had to do with that restart where we wrecked a bunch of cars. And Ken might have been in the wrong gear. Yeah.
Something like that.
Long race. Look, race. Ken's quick. Here we go. Pace car's gonna peel off. George Ansaldo and Ryan Otis will bring them to the green, and Ansaldo's on the loud pedal right away. The Sim Experience 175 from the Twin Ring in Motegi is underway. And right away, look at Sage Karam. Just knew George. Boy, it's almost like Sage and George are in the same channel, and Sage might have known when George was going to go. Karam to the outside of Ansaldo as they go down the back straightaway. Look at Ryan Otis poking his nose in there. We're going to be 17 wide for the lead by the time we get to turn 3.
And why not? This track has the room for it. You got Chris Lanini hanging out there on the high side, high, wide, and handsome, as Harry Gant used to like to be called, hanging up there in the 4th spot. But here comes Sage Karam trying to make a run to the outside, but George is going to have the room on the inside. Who's going to get the credit for leading lap 1?
Sage.
That one to Sage by
Yowzers.
About a beard hair length.
I was can Sage grow beard hair? That's a valid question.
I don't know. I can grow a beard, but he can drive faster than me, so it's a trade-off.
Yeah, that's a given. 1/1000 of a second. Look at George throwing the block on Sage, and here comes Otis to the inside into turn 3. Now this would be fun to watch. Who can get the run up off of 3 and 4? Right now it's Karam, and Ansaldo's going to go up and pick up his kind of pseudo teammate. Now George comes back down, says, I want some at Ryan Otis. Ansaldo's playing this smart right now. Because we bounce back and forth down the straightaways. You can kind of control which line you pull. Now Sage able to tuck in. Lionel Callisto up to the 4th spot. And keep an eye on Big Joe Hassert, who said he had last week's race won in practice and was darn near right until he got wrecked out. And felt good about this week, too. And look at him already up there into the top 5.
Best of intentions. AC Joshua Kamen going around the outside that purple and yellow car. He went to the outside, top of the track, 3 wide, got around Lanini, Taft Baldwin, and I think that it was Sandman down there on the inside as we go. On board last week's winner, Mark Cohn, in the Sam Maxwell Customs car. The Watchman watched himself get his first Lionheart victory last week. Goodness gracious. You spin that camera around out front. It's going to be a whole different view. There we go. Go to the GSRC chopper cam. Look at these guys.
Already working lap number 4, make it 5 as they cross the stripe. George Anzaldo has led all but the first lap from the pole. Ryan Otis, Sage Karam have basically been wheel to wheel for second for 3/4 of the laps so far. Callisto, Big Joe, Mark Cohn. Here comes Pat Dotson working his way through the pack.
Sage jumping up to the outside, getting that big head of steam, but I think it's going to trail off out there because George is going to have the preferred lane all the way down there at the bottom and then letting it drift right back up. Nice part is, look at this shot. You just see all the cars dancing and weaving and juking and diving all the way down the front stretch. They're 4 wide going into the corner back there. Were we doing this last year? Because I don't.
I'm going to be honest, I spent a lot of time with Saunders and Blocker up front, so I tried not to see what was behind me. But I want to say yes. George kind of missed the entry there, and Ryan Otis had a nice run. Sage is
Sage is into the fence. Oh, put it out. Big down the front stretch.
Oh, man.
Oh, Dustin Wardlow's in it.
There's not in it. It's going to be easier.
Well, a lot of guys missed it. Sage Karam, Mark Cohn, and Wardlow were the ones I saw immediately. There was a green car that nosed the wall that may have been blocked. Oh, and Wardlow got turned by Sandman, I think incidentally, obviously.
Justin Kirby kind of ghosted through it. It kind of looks like Gaiman did the same.
That's it. Usually you curse netcode, and every once in a while it throws you a bone.
Right.
That could have been a lot worse see, there you see the 2 cars back there. It's the green car. I gotta look this one up. I gotta see who that was back there. It's a green car.
It was Scott Holmes who turned Wardlow, by the way.
Oh, okay. I saw blue and white. I didn't know if it was.
I tell you, it's interesting. I actually think, I could be wrong, I think Dustin Wardlow gets through this totally clean. Scott Holmes has a bent front wing. He's in deep trouble. Wardlow's pitting because he's got a check on it, but unless there's some sort of gearbox damage we cannot see, Dustin Wardlow's going to get away with this totally clean.
Might be right, Jason. I'm sitting here watching.
I don't know if we can. Maybe Amjad can get one more look at it here, centered in just on Dustin or not. But it was pretty remarkable Danny Sullivan type of spin for Dustin Wardlow. Here's another look. Amjad's all over this. Hey, that's the lap guy. Well, the good news is that's a clean lap. Right there, guaranteed. Yeah.
Clean lap by a handsome bearded fella.
All right, you must have done the lap. Look at that. Here's another look at it. So here's Sage. That's Cone upside down.
Yeah,
and you can see Wardlow's spin there.
I think
he does not hit anything.
Unless there's some kind of rear end.
Oh, I tell you who is going to have some problems. There's a couple more wrecked cars back there, Yaz. One's got a bent wing.
Eric Block. Who was the other car that I saw back there? Ryan Corns was in it. Eric Block, in kind of a checkup, got into the back of somebody else. Who was that? I know I saw the green car back there because Eric's scheme stands out. He got in it with Adam. Oh, that's a weird one. So he was going to be fine. He gets basically railroaded from behind, and he spins down and clips Adam Young, who was slowing down to miss the wreck. So there's just a lot that had unfolded there. A lot of cars getting fixed. Some cars, I'm sure Sage is done. Adam Young has still got a lot of.
Yeah, Sage and Mark Cohn.
Mark is out of the. Yeah, Mark is out of the car.
And Adams.
Robert's on pit road, topping off the gas tank, I think. All right, so unofficially, Joshua Gaiman, Wardlow, Eldred, Young, Karam, Mark Cohn, and Ryan Corns. That's who I'm going to call as in that accident.
Meanwhile, we're going to head back to racing.
Yeah, with George Anzaldo going to be leading the field back to the restart. Getting it right up there to the wall, try and minimize the draft. Pace car driven away, and George is onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. He's going to get a good start. As you see that single file line going all the way back. Little bit of a stack up back there in the field, but everybody's going to get away mostly clean. First battle, Justin Kirby diving onto the inside of Taft Baldwin. Timed that restart really nice. Used a little bit of draft to get that 43 machine up and around the Riding Shotgun Motorsports machine. Now, as they sail off into turn 3, everybody just kind of minding their P's and Q's. Not too surprising that you see that on an early incident that kind of calms the field down a little bit. Everybody just decides, okay, oh, never mind, put it out. We've got a caution.
Way to jinx. You talk about the broadcaster's jinx. Yes, right on cue. We were talking about that before the race.
Oh, Eric Block once again.
Oh, man, the way that car goes around, if that's not a damage problem, I'd be really surprised.
Yeah. God, who was that just missed him? JP was... Get the onboard on JP. That could be an interesting ride.
Have we officially determined how we're pronouncing JP's last name?
I've said Chittle and no one stopped me.
I like it. Good. Executive decision made by the banker. That's what happens when you're a banker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get to call the shot.
Sometimes.
Hey, onboard cameras. Should have mentioned this earlier, huh? Ron Hacker, the butt kicker onboard. Mark Cohn, the Sam Maxwell Customs onboard. Sorry, Mark. That was a short-lived one. Yeah. Short-lived run for you. Darren Ganges in the Sim Experience car. I think this is on board with Ron right now. And Darren Gange didn't even make the start. Boy, rough night for the onboards. Rest in peace, Ron. I'm just gonna. One of them crashed on lap 6, and the other didn't make the race. So you got to carry the show.
Yeah.
A bunch of cars coming
to interesting up front. Lionel Kalisto, Taft Baldwin, Tyson Landis on pit road.
A bunch of teammates.
Did we? What was our fuel window?
Our fuel window, let's turn to the handy-dandy media guide that is provided to us, courtesy of the Lionheart Retro Series. And 44 to 45 laps is what they're saying on a solo run. Do not have a projection on how much consumption that is per lap. 44 to 45 laps in 100 and... what are we going? 113 laps here.
Yeah, we need Professor Lugnuts.
Yeah, you got a big window, right? So it basically, as long as you're in after lap 68 for your second stop, you can go the distance, which means you got to get to about 23 to 24 on your first stint.
Which on lap 12,
it seems a little short.
That's tough right there. That's just a little tough. Now, unless they're trying to go for the long play, sometimes you go a little heavy on the front side, get a little bit faster at the end, and try to make that difference up a little bit. I've seen that work a couple times last year.
Danica saved like 8 laps of fuel here the year that she won.
Yeah, she came up at who was I talking? I was talking to someone very recently, and they said, "Oh, that Danica Patrick, what was she ever, or something like that?" And I said, "Well, she won one race in her professional career." And they went, "Really?" I said, "Yep, because everybody else ran out of gas."
That's not true. That's not true.
That's true.
No, Elio went the distance. Elio actually, I just went and watched this today again, getting ready for this race. Elio literally lifts with 3 laps to go, and Danica comes from a straightaway back and blows by him like he's the Statue of Liberty.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Or not doing
he had a little more speed when he was dancing with the stars. Oh, yes. You can make a tax joke as a banker now, right?
I can, yeah. I think I could write that off legally.
I can. Oh boy, we're gonna drive some people nuts this season.
So it is funny, Jason. You talked about this, the twin ring Motegi, the two different track layouts. Right now, the leaders are crossing over where you actually go underneath the track to come back into or come out from the infield to go up to the actual follow some of the road course.
And there is quite a bump there.
It's
I
fun.
Woohoo! It is fun. It is fun. That is truly the send it corner.
Mm-hmm. Still got pace car lights are still off. I was trying to finish my sentence.
No, we got one more. We got a lot of time. a lot of time. Don't worry.
But yeah, so
hey,
it's just
this
funny.
seems like a good time. This seems like a good time, Yaz. We'll get to your joke in a second.
I think
Lights
so.
are off. Lights are off. Yeah.
Lights are
good time to tell you that the Lionheart Retro Series is presented by Butt Kicker. And Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer, moves air and loses accuracy and force, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection. They bring more realism and immersion to your sessions. You can see the whole family of products at thebuttkicker.com. Remember, we love promo codes here in the Lionheart series, and
we do love promo codes.
Lion25 gets you 25% off your order. They're practically giving the Butt Kickers away at that point. Lion25 to get 25% off your orders at thebuttkicker.com.
Legal disclaimer, we're not giving them away. You still do have to pay.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm just saying. Not a lot of margin left for them there.
They find a way.
Yeah, no, we love the Butt Kickers.
I put one in my road car.
Did you?
Yeah.
How's that working for you?
Kicks my butt.
It's doing its job then. All righty, here we go. Lights are off, pace car's off.
George is off.
Off, and boy, Ryan Otis, Big Joe, Pat Dodson. He didn't really fool anybody that time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, George, that's the thing as the leader, especially in these draft cars. Like that, you kind of have to stagger that up a little bit, and I'm sure George has probably got it figured out. If he's got a plan for the end of the race. Big Joe, big run down the backstretch. Coming off of turn 2, George going up to the top side. Either trying to go for the block or try to get away from Otis. But it might work out to the point that he might pull Joe along. Nope, Otis is going to get that run from the bottom side. Now Joe's going to have to go on the defense because there you got Pat Dodson, the new guy, poking his nose around there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sandman's buried back there in the 12th spot.
It's the blue and the white. That messed me up on first glance.
Hey, you could be calling a race like I am. I haven't got trading paints to work yet, so to give you an idea here, George's car is blue, Joe's car is green. Pat Dodson's in a bright yellow car, kind of looks like Bumblebee.
There we go.
That's my world right now. Hey, Otis to the inside of George. Battle for the lead. And here's where Otis messed up a little bit there. He has a side draft in this car's killer. He's still going to keep the low line, but I would have probably squeezed George a little bit there. Either way, Otis 2P1. Here comes Dotson. Here comes Kirby. Joe slams the door on Kirby. Everybody wants to round Anzaldo now. Mardi Gras.
3 wide going into the corner. The new guy trying to make the bottom line going to work out. Nope, not going to quite work it there. Otis got a good run through the middle of the corner, and George on top lost a little bit of momentum. But now with that draft, now Otis is kind of the Paul Piper. Oh goodness,
Joe! Yowzers! Big Joe said, "I'm in a hurry." You ever heard that Alabama song? I'm in a hurry and don't know why.
Yeah, I think he knows why.
Right there. Yeah, I guess. Look at Anzaldo. He wants back in it. Mardi Gras is right there as well. Here comes Rigney, who's shown plenty of speed on ovals. Easy there, Joe. Big checkup.
Joe was really excited talking to him before this race. He was really excited for this one. It felt like he had a really good car again. Kind of like last
here comes
week.
Dean Mall.
Woo! Just decides, I'm going to get to the bottom there. And kind of like on the interstate, when you look up and you see that guy coming in the left lane, you're like, I need to get in front of him before that semi.
Whew. I'd like to point out, we're on lap 19 of 113.
Yeah, still got a lot to go here.
94 laps. Kirby almost got the wall. Boy, Justin Kirby could have stuck his hand out and he would have had to amputate his fingers. Holy cow. That already didn't work for Sage.
Yeah.
Dotson and Big Joe are just going to war for second right now.
So I feel like we do kind of need to bring this up. So we talk about Dotson, we talk about him being the new guy, and we talk about all these different things. Pat Dotson, he is the mechanical engineer for Sim Experience and the creator of the GS5 seat. And remember, if you go to if you visit the Sim Experience website, you use the promo code SimX9, you get 5% off of that seat right there that Pat Dotson designed and is probably using in his vehicle right now.
Yeah, I hope he's using it. You would think he is. I'm going to guess he is.
So.
Yeah. Pat Dotson's going to be looking for the lead here in a second.
He's going to have to wrestle away from Big Joe and Ryan Otis, and that's a pretty tall order, especially with those two gentlemen, with a stranglehold on the first and the second position.
Joe's got a good run here. Here comes Dean Mull. Otis goes low. Hastert's going to have to work the high side. They're 3 wide for third. Mull on the inside, and Zaldo up top gives it up, tucks in. Boy, he is all over Dotson. I bet he could tell you what gear Dotson's in right now.
Probably what kind of rear end gear
they
use too.
Yeah, titanium.
We go Dean Marty Gras Mull to the inside, looking there in the third spot. George, stay off that apron. Those cars don't like it when they get on the apron. And that's it backs that momentum up.
How about Stefan Schlocker? Stefan could barely spell oval before he started running this series, and he's up to 8th from 29th, plus 21 so far.
So, kind of an interesting note. We don't really have to jump the camera around. I just want to point this out. There is about a 3.5 second gap between JP Winchittle at 18th and 19th of Lionel Kalisto. Now, you may be wondering, why do they get a 3-second gap there? Ooh, Climber, hang on to it. The reason for that 3-second gap, everybody that would from Lionel back has pitted. So they are heavier on fuel.
Super heavy.
Super heavy. So what'll be really interesting to watch is the lap times that Lionel, Dustin, Gaiman, Holmes, Eldred, and all those guys run at the end of the run when they're really light on fuel, and all of this big pack of 18 snarling drivers are heavy on fuel. Let's see if they can make up that gap. That's kind of the strategy play that they're going with right there.
I think Big Joe could take the lead from Ryan here if he wanted to, and is choosing not to force the issue because he's kind of being able to do what he wants right now. He's in a clean space. He's got Dean and George and Dotson, and here comes Stefan. And oh, goodness. Guys, 88 laps to go.
I know Joe, and if he wanted the lead, he would have snagged it right there. Because they came off of turn 2, and there was plenty of room down there to make that run. And Joe's
getting these big runs down the front straight too. This one wasn't quite as good, but he's had a big enough run. And Otis is running the middle. He's not exactly down at the wall. Joe could totally cross under him if he wanted to force the issue. He's just choosing not to. Here comes Inzaldo and Mull, though, back to the party. Dean goes low, George goes high. We're almost 3 wide, bit down the back straightaway. Looking 4 maybe. We'll go 3 into the corner, and Zaldo's going to have to back out of it. Boy, look at George get a big run. That's how Sage Karam ended up in trouble. George makes it work, though.
Makes it work. Pick gets the run off the corner. Leapfrogs Joe. Gets
the door on Hassert.
Shut the door like Joe did not pay rent. Goodness gracious.
Coming up on lap traffic, it looks like here, too, maybe. Adam Young, looks like Adam Young hit pit road. I saw the gap back. The gap was getting close, and Adam chose to pit. Ken Hacker is 17 seconds back, so still about a half a lap down for him. I just looked over and saw Adam dropping like a rock, but he went to pit road. Boy, Hassard ended up really hurt by that one. Yeah, it's all the way back to 5th now.
Well, especially with these cars, the lower horsepower that gets put out, it's kind of like the problem that the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup cars are dealing with right now. When you lift and you lose that momentum, it takes you a good solid chunk of time to make it back. Dean Mull going to the inside 3 wide, trying to make it stick. Discretion is the better part of valor, though, as he backs off of it. Gets it now side by side with George Anzaldo there for the 2nd spot. Justin Kirby had some front-end wing damage. that I think I saw. May be affecting why he's hanging out towards the back there. But goodness gracious. You got the top 7 cars pretty much under a blanket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8.
Confirmed on Kirby. Just went and checked. Right front wing damage, and that's not going to be fun here. Drag is not your friend at this track. Let me put it that way. I am impressed that Ryan Otis has been out front as long as he has. I wonder if Joe is maybe regretting not forcing that issue at some point here as we work lap 30 of 113, the Sim Experience 175,
George!
and boy, yeah. Talk about shutting the door.
I mean, I know
Jorge
there's a subsection
just did
there's a subsection in the rule book about blocking, and depending on who we got in race control and what they part of that they wanted to read, you could read that one either way.
Hassert to the outside of Dotson, trying to work his way back up into the top 3. Mole pops out, and Zaldo's gonna start to show a nose.
See,
They're
if you're
3
Maul,
wide
maybe
again.
try sending it there from that top outside lane. Yeah, Dean, get you some of that.
Boy, look at trouble!
Oh, big problems out back. Put it out.
David Clymer just destroyed the wall, and that will end his night for sure. That was ugly, and that's one of those wrecks that you watch and go, man, good thing this is a sim.
You get some helper to that thing. Oh. Yeah, that'll do it. Climbed right over the back tire there.
Boy, worst part for Clymer, that's a Dalton. I got to refer to my guide here, but I think they might be teammates.
Yeah, cars look pretty similar painted, too.
Which would not be good. Just going to throw it out there.
Might be an awkward Tuesday meeting.
All right, should be opening up pit road here as the cars roll around. Ryan Otis, Mardi Gras Mall,
and
George Anzaldo, Joe
everybody
Dotson.
coming to pit road.
Oh, staying out, Stefan.
Why not?
Oh,
Why not?
shocker. Why? He's only got 10 laps of fuel left. That might be the first reason why not. I mean, we've run enough yellow. I guess he's probably closer to 20 left would be my guess here.
Well, 15. I'll run the middle there, but yeah.
All right, let's keep an eye on this here.
Nobody's getting up in the air. The way I always approach.
Oh,
these,
George is up. Oh, that's curious. George is taking tires.
The way I always
That's
look
a
at these
curious
oval
decision.
races last year is.
Did Marty Gras just beat Otis off of pit road?
Yeah, it was very cool.
We got to take another look at that. We got to take another look at that.
Figure it out. You probably got to take tires once.
You think?
I think you take them once, and then because you saw last week what happens when you stay out and you run a whole bunch of laps on those tires. You just randomly will lose grip. So I think you got to take them once to mitigate that a little bit.
You turn the wheel a little too much too.
Well, I'm just going from what I saw in my hotel room. So that being said, we're gonna get some things reset here for you on GSRC on the iRacing Esports Network. Take a quick break. We'll be right back on the other side.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
Stefan Schlocker, who fancies himself as a GSRC broadcaster when he's not busy leading Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker Races, he is your leader as we work lap 35, so 78 to go when the green flag comes back out here. Stefan has not pit. He is the only car in the entire race that has not pit so far. I'm Jason Galvin. He's the banker, Brian Yazik. I'm Jed Yaman. Behind the scenes, Dougie Beard on the cameras. This is GSRC, the Lionheart iRacing Esports Network, the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker. Green flag is back out, and Stefan stands on it and able to pull away right away from Lionel Callisto, who started P6, fell all the way back into the 20s, and is all the way back up to second. Oh, by the way, the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, who's already done more 360s than Tanya Harding in this race, is up to third.
Why? Let's see out front. That was just bad. That was just bad. I need to apologize.
Which one?
We'll work it back out.
Tanya Harding?
Tanya Harding, yeah.
Hey,
you know. Anyways. 360 no scope.
Oh, no, that was bad.
You know, just bridge all that together. Anyways, back out front. There's a race going on. We're all just having fun here.
Isn't that what we're paid to do?
Well,
Are you getting paid?
I don't know.
Battle for the lead. Lionel Callisto inside of Stefan Schlacker. Here comes Wardlow looking to the outside, and Callisto will take the low line. Here's going to be a good battle right here. Can Schlacker make the outside roll? The answer looks like it's no so far. Callisto got a great run off of 3 and 4 and will lead his first lap on lap 38. And here comes the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, from about 5 miles west of me here in Bakersfield, California, all the way up to third in Japan at the same time. The joys of the internet.
Well, it's an amazing thing, that internet.
Boy, Josh Gaiman wants in on this too. I got to tell you, I'm kind of surprised Schlacker being 15 laps to the positive in fuel for Callisto, 8 laps to the positive over Wardlow and Gaiman. And I kind of thought that having that much less fuel, you know, you're talking about 4 or 5 gallons, looking at 30 or 40 pounds lighter. I thought he'd really be able to just kind of hang on out front. And instead, he's been slicing and dicing.
He's been making it work, that's for sure.
Well, here comes Ryan Otis, by the way, on full fuel. He's the only leader who's stuck with this pack. Only, I should say, driver from the lead pack before pit stops. There is a 1 second or so gap back to Mardi Gras Mall, and then another second plus back to Dotson and Anzaldo. So things have really fanned out here on lap 40.
And a lot of the guys out front, I'm sure we talked about this, they stayed out on the first cycle. Otis kind of being the first one to rise up into the back of that pack. Got a good run off of that start, leaving everybody else that pitted with him in the dust.
Yeah, just to give you an idea here, Callisto pit on lap 15. He's actually been in twice. Schlacker has yet to pit. Gaiman was in on lap 22, and that was awfully close. Baldwin was in on lap 19, and Wardlow was in on 20.
It was Dustin going up there trying to scare the wall, and unfortunately, the wall doesn't ever back down. If you can try and chest up to that wall all you want, and just go stand there and go, try me, bro. it out.
That's.
Oh, there's
gonna
more
change.
problems out back. Oh, big wreck. There's a lot of them in it. Chris Lanini's in it.
Man,
84 of Pat
this is
Dotson was in it.
truly the big one. And it started with Schlocker and that low fuel. And for the second week in a row, Dustin Wardlow, running in the top 3, is taken out on a solo spin by the leader. And this one collects a lot of cars.
Yeah,
Wardlow, Gaiman. You mentioned behind them. It's so weird because the wreck behind them almost had nothing to do with the wreck up front.
There was a lot that happened. There was the initial wreck that we kind of covered, and then just happened to glance up, and there was everybody else just piling into it.
So the interesting thing you're going to see here, the wreck behind them that takes Lanini out had literally nothing to do with the wreck up front. Pat Dotson overturned, and he almost bounced off of Joe Hassert, and when he lifted, it kind of chased the car, and Lanini was just kind of riding to the outside, and into him he went. Let's take it a line of. It's Taft Baldwin. You're looking for Baldwin here on the Yowzers. Taft Baldwin leads the league in instants per race, averaging 1 instant point per race.
That's
Saw his life flash before him there.
Yeah.
Boy, Dustin Wardlow's what-if season in the Retro Series continues. Wrecked at Sebring, wrecked at Phoenix, wrecked at Motegi, a top 5 car at all 3 events. Nothing of his own fault at all 3 events.
Right place, wrong time. Stefan in the chat apologizing over 4 full runs. It never did that. It's kind of like what we talked about, last week. You got to put some tires on it somewhere.
Yeah, that to me, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think that's less about tires. Yes, and I think fuel played a big factor in that because if I do the math, he was down to his last 5 laps on fuel maybe or so.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
And you go into one, and if you lift and you're that light on the rear end of this car, we know how much fuel this car burns, right? It goes through 10 imperial gallons. This, plenty of regular gallons, and it gets light, and you lift, and the back end it'll just float. And this car also, what this car hates is over rotation of the wheel. So if you miss your entry a little and you put a little too much wheel in it and the back end's light, then around you go. And that's unfortunately what happened there.
Yeah, and the Lotus 49 on the service, does measure imperial gallons. And if you're like me and you thought, what in God's green earth is an imperial gallon? It is 1.2 U.S. liquid gallons.
Okay, but what is an imperial gallon?
It's a unit of measurement.
Oh, wow!
I just did the conversion for you. That's all.
Wow.
You hear
Ladies and
gallon, you know
gentlemen,
what we're talking about.
The banker. This is a solid career choice for you, Yaz. I dig it.
You can count on me.
Hey, by the way, I saw James Paulson was on pit road, and he has some pretty heavy front wing damage. I'm not sure where that came from, but his
that
front
was
wing-
if he's got that car that looks like that old AMC Pacer. Yep, he was the one that slid into it late. He got, I think he got sent into it.
In fact, I think he's out of the car. He is. So Paulson's calling in tonight.
Also, I'll get 1 to green here. Big shout out. He's interacting in chat, and if you're in chat out there, everybody in chat, give a big happy birthday to Dandy Dan Garrett.
Danimal,
if you will. He's a great guy, and if you ever see him, he will hug you. That's a promise. Fact. So happy birthday, Dan. I think you're 21 again, if I'm not mistaken. So big shout out there, and Brandon Limkeman as well. series sponsor on the IndyCar side. So
Yes.
a couple happy
Ryan.
birthdays to people that are very important here in the Lionheart League. Lights are back
Yellow
on
was
the
delayed.
pace car.
Yeah, not sure why.
Someone stopped somewhere. And Stefan, Imperial equals old UK. Normal gallons, modern US. So there you go. See, Imperial English, the garagistas, like, I got this. Told y'all. Everybody's pacing around. Lionel Kalisto, I would probably throw him under the under the kind of the tough break part here. He's started sixth on the night, up to first. But if you are a viewer of our of the pack majors, or just the majors now, I just kind of dated myself a little bit.
The majors, yeah.
That is a name that needs no introduction over there. Riding Shotgun is a team that needs no introduction. So I think it's just a little bit of an adjustment, getting over here to these cars and doing these style of racing, which is a
fixed
different.
Setup for that matter.
And a fixed setup. So there's a lot of things going on there. But good to see Lionel up front. Little Train, as he's called on the major side of things.
Yeah, the major series is, for my money, the best pound for pound competition.
They got their Indy 500 coming up soon too.
Coming up.
Is it next week?
Yeah. We remember, Yaz, we got an invite and we're both busy.
Well, you were busy. I had to see how some stuff fell.
Oh, that's right. Are you clear now? I hope you're clear.
We might be. If it's next week, we might be clear.
I like it. Yeah, unfortunately, I will be in Fontana, California, announcing an NHRA Division 7 event. But I did appreciate that GSRC.
I'll be in the middle of nowhere, Michigan.
Well, that's where you're at every day. Hey, base cars out. Lionel Kalisto on the throttle. Green flag back out. We are working lap 47 as they head off into turn 1. 66 and some change to go in the Sim Experience 175 here at the Twin Ring in Motegi. And Kalisto's got company from his teammate Taft Baldwin and Ryan Otis. And here comes Mardi Gras and Enzaldo. And a whole bunch of race cars going to be in the fray now.
Yeah, everybody's going to get up there now. Lionel's going to try and run away from it up front. But that draft, I mean, these guys are lighter on fuel. Remember, we did kind of harp on this a little bit. He and Taft are the only guys. They've probably got 15-ish laps left in their tank, I'd probably say. So what they're hoping for is run this thing out about as far as they can go, because then when it runs out that long, it's going to drag everybody probably back down onto pit road. So that's going to cycle them back out front. That's going to be a big gain in track position. But Ryan Otis says, excuse me, guys, I got to spot back.
Yeah. Hello.
Keeping it warm for me.
Ryan Otis. I'll tell you this much, by the way. We've now run enough laps under caution, and I would be stunned. I mean stunned if the second half of the race goes like the first half. First half, we've already lost a third of the field almost.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah,
more than that. But if these guys can get to, like, say, lap 57, which doesn't seem out of the question, that's a one-stopper at that point. Now, again, that's saying they get the same mileage over the second half of the race they've gotten so far, and neither of us really see that happening, but you never know, I guess. Dean Mall all over the back now of Taft Baldwin. Otis looking for the lead on Kalisto. Ryan Otis, who is a road course savant in this series, but has long yearned for success on an oval and a championship in Lionheart, is flexing his muscles here at Twin Ring Motegi, and he is the new leader, although Kalisto is not giving it up off of turn 4.
This is why we pay this out at the line. I think Kalisto is going to give it to him.
iRacing says Lionel's still the leader.
Yep, that lap around.
001. Otis back out front. Now he's clear of Lionel. And here comes Baldwin, the inside of his teammate maybe. Mardi Gras in it as well.
Yeah, Mardi Gras, you learn that top lane, you can really kind of get a good run because you can straighten that corner out. And especially as everybody's trying to dive out there, you can kind of use a lot of the track and try and build that momentum off the corner.
The top lane is the best lane, I think, coming up off of 4. Depending on what the car inside of you does. Now that car inside of you, pulls the meanie move and decides to run up the track a little bit, then it just totally messes you up. But if they run down on the white line like Otis is doing right now, then you can kind of tuck it right down in there like Lionel's doing right now and get a nice smooth
There you go. Kind of pinch that off just a little bit on corner exit, especially with these cars. Those smaller front tires, a lot of people tend to overlook that, so these cars will oversteer pretty easily just because the front tires are smaller than the rear tires.
Mardi Gras inside of Otis. Here comes Baldwin as well. Woo! Dean Mall wants the lead. 3 wide into turn 3.
Not gonna work.
Side of Callisto has to lift, and Lionel's going to get a nice clear run off. And here comes Otis. And hello to Big Joe Hassard, who's back up into the top 4 now.
As impressive as it looks going into the corner right on the white line down there with 3 wide, it just, when you're on the bottom, you don't have you can't get the car to rotate right. So it basically chokes the car coming off of the corner, and you get those big runs to the outside. Oh, Joe, gonna try it. 3 wide. We start in the Indy 500. They are 3 by 3 for the first 2 rows.
Lionel hangs on again. What a power move for Callisto. Otis almost got a piece of the wall.
There was someone that got a little skittish on the low side, too.
Rigney, Jenkins, Paul Jenkins. Jenkins and Rigney's car look a little similar up there. It's Jenkins, who's now inside of Dalton, 6th, 7th, and Zaldo in 8th is there as well. 8-car lead pack, and in fact, even Rigney is kind of hanging on right there in 9th. Altman and Beast are back to 11th, and then we hit our really big gap, by the way. There's about a 2-second gap from 11th to 12th, and Beaster to Eric Block, who Yaz and I had pretty much written off early in this race.
Yeah, that car was back around twice, but still rolling forward now, so that's the important part. Joe's going to try and go up to the top side. Get that run right. He's going to probably get Marty. No, Joe's going to try and fall in line here and snake that graph just a little bit. But then, ooh, that was a good little move right there. Get a good run off the corner. Draft down the front stretch. It got him around 2nd spot that time. See, 3 wide once again. Mardi Gras trying to make it work on the bottom. It's just not quite sticking. Joe should get the draft. Oh, what happened to Zalda back there? Just a little loose. A little checkup. All right, kids. Print off your boarding passes. Check out of your hotels. We are halfway through with this race. We are finishing it, whether it be rain, snow, sleet, or virtual shenanigans, if you will, or an earthquake. I did do the earthquake. I'm sorry.
I pray for the day that we get halfway rain. Callisto hit the apron in turn 3 and is going to give up the lead to Dean Mall.
Get it. Mardi Gras having a party up there, floating away on himself. Bring it right down, straight into that corner.
Who's got the beads?
Who's got it? Oh, goodness.
Oh, Big Joe, yowzers.
Someone almost went...
Who signed the autograph there, Big Joe or Taft? They both could have done it.
They could have, yeah.
Dalton peeking out. That's Paul Jenkins' high side. Paul Jenkins had himself a heck of a run at ISM, and Mull hits the apron. New leader off of turn 4. The Big Joe show goes to the front.
Big Joe Hassert. Talked about it earlier. Talked to him before this race. He was equally as excited here after what he felt really let down at Phoenix. He was really running a couple runs there in one of the practice races, and he said, guys, I got a shot at this. I feel good. And by God, look at that, living it up to that, going up to the top to block the Mardi Gras machine.
I don't think Big Joe intends on giving the lead up now that he has gotten there. Callisto to the inside. Joe's going to have that run off the outside here.
Good run. And I'll bet you Joe is probably one of the better drivers when it comes to pit road cycles on and off.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's probably wanting this one to go green because he knows he could probably build a gap on the pit stop cycle.
Joe is, by all accounts, one of absolutely the best oval drivers in the history of the Lionheart League. And it's been a while since he's captured a win in either division, retro or IndyCar, and it sure is coming. And it's been a weird streak. He's had several races where he was, clearly one of the best cars and was involved in wrecks. He's made a few uncharacteristic mistakes, but Joe's in a better place now. He's kind of calmed down, and he's focused.
There was Michigan last year where I maybe beat him in the third closest finish in IndyCar history.
I mean, think back to Fontana a couple of years ago.
Kansas a couple of years ago. He lost that one
out of the lead by a lapped car. Yeah, I mean, he's been right there. You get wrecked out of the lead by a lapped car. Oh, boy.
He's hearing us talk about it. Oh, guys, shut up.
Right. Lionel says, I'm not ready to give up yet. Joe's going to get that run, pop out to the outside here, I bet. Here comes Taft and Otis as well. Boy, Jenkins threw a little block on Mardi Gras. Didn't matter. Dean gets to the inside of Jenkins.
I think these guys if you see, they're kind of giving a little bit more room towards that white line on corner entry to about the middle of the corner. I think a couple of these guys that have gone up there and hit the apron and gotten loose, they've learned and said, okay, I got to give a little bit more respect there. Joe's just going to push his way through.
Yeah, Lionel left the door open. He never really closed it there, and Joe said, okay, that's fine by me.
If there's one person on the track you don't leave a door open, it's Joe. I love him.
Joe just said, okay, right back to the front.
My doors off at Pocono a couple weeks ago because I left about half a lane and I looked up and I heard car high.
And we're on the same team. Oh, boy. Throwing the blocks.
Throwing shade, as the kids say.
Yeah, full disclaimer here. Yazik, Joe, and I are on the same team. And IndyCar wreck trouble.
Cut it out! I don't know where it's at. I think it's turn 1 and 2. It's the 89 machine. Oh, no.
One of our Rookie of the Year leaders, Chad Dalton, is around. And he got a lot of help.
This is interesting.
Frank Bieser, I don't know if he thought he was clear or what.
Did he hit the wall?
A big hit from Bieser.
Gary, it might not have been he might not have even really hit the wall that hard.
He kind of pancakes it flush. That'll be interesting.
That's if you're gonna
hit it, that's how to do it. Yeah, all day.
Oh yeah, I would almost say that looked even a little bit of net code on my screen too.
On the it might have been, but Frank made a pretty aggressive move.
It was
if
very
you go
sudden.
right on board with Dalton, and he never sees anything, and then all of a sudden, there it is. I got to tell you, I rode on board with Dalton, and the hitting the wall doesn't seem that bad. So I guess we'll see when the car gets going.
I'm wondering, 48 to go, we're coming to 47. I think you pit now and forever hold your peace.
I think you're probably right. By the way, I'll say this about Chad Dalton. Wheel is cockeyed in the cockpit of that race car to go straight.
That's...
Is it drivable? Yes. Is it winnable? Probably not.
Drivable is a very loose term.
Or tight. Pit road, here they come. You called it.
Yeah, you can call that drivable like you can call me a dietary coach. Just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. Well, that too.
All the leaders on the pit road. I think every race car on the track is on pit road right now. This would be a good time if a fan wanted to run out and get their 15 seconds of fame. Here comes Big Joe.
You know what? Once we come off of pit road, we got to talk about our. Where we go? A couple guys take tires. Some people.
Boy,
these are
Lionel.
Stall.
And I tell you, it's weird. Lionel spent a long time on pit road, and I'm not really sure.
That may be. Get the fresh tires for the end of it. I don't know.
Well, Rigney took tires. Lionel did not. He just sat there for a long time. A long time.
Like too far back, and then just didn't realize it.
I don't know. Car never really moved. Maybe he was that much lighter on fuel.
very quick shout out. Driver profile, Robert Bluen stayed out.
Hey,
He's going to get
Robert.
himself a bonus point for leading the lap here. This is the perfect opportunity to bring this up. Well, there you see with Robert. Some of the stats might be wrong there. Got 1 top 5, 6 top 10s. First start. The Homestead Season 1, his first start, best finish of 5th. That 1 top 5 there. Robert,
I remember that.
He's always been around. A great guy to talk to out there. At 30, how many? 35? 35 starts. I've been corrected.
35 is better than 0, indeed.
That's very true. Well, I mean, I'd almost be a record. No career starts, but 6 top 10s.
Yeah, that would be impressive. You're right.
And come to think about it, is he still staying out?
So he, just throwing this out there, he pit with 30. He pit 32 laps ago.
And Beeser's staying with him.
I kind of don't hate it. So my scoring tells me Frank Beeser pit, which seems impossible. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there's no way Frank Beeser pit. Oh, Amjad says Frank just drove straight through pit lane. Let's go check. He sure did. Boy, Frank literally drives straight through. Okay, so Frank did pit, Brian. He didn't take fuel.
Kept going.
Yeah, that's I have no idea when his last pit stop was, but this could be interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if Robert's going to peel it off and pit this time.
Coming to 1. I don't know that. I'm telling you. So Robert once won a race in IndyCar by out.
Yeah, there he goes.
So he outfueled everybody at Chicago once, and everybody looked up with about 10 to go and went, "Wait a minute, where's the leader?" Robert was on the other side of the track. We all went, he can't make it. Checkered flag came out. Guess where Robert was? Still on the other side of the track.
He won.
He sure
He's
did.
gonna peel it away. So now the lead has cycled around to Frank Beeser and Big Joe Hassert just off of his rear wing. Ryan Otis in the 3rd spot with Paul Jenkins 4th, Dean Mardi Gras Mall 5th, 6th to Lionel Kalistel, 7th Taft Baldwin. David Altman, we haven't mentioned his name other than the start of the race, up there in the 8th position. Mike Eleanor Rigney up there in the 9th, and running at your top 10, Justin Kirby. Now, don't remember though how those guys have ordered it up, because if we've seen anything here at Motegi, it's not going to take long before that whole top 10 just gets shuffled right around.
Turn it upside down by the time they get probably to the back straight away. Frank Beeser has basically no fuel compared to everybody else. So he should have plenty of speed. Got his first career top 10 last week when he was the driver profile at ISM in Phoenix. Finished in the 7th position. And, well, boy, wouldn't it be something if he got his first top 5 here tonight at Motegi, or maybe even picked up a win.
He'd want us to profile him every single week.
Every week, no kidding. Pace cars off. Beeser on the loud pedal now. Boy, took his time.
He got there, though. A little bit of a stack up in the mid-pack as some people went to go and expected. Otis trying to poke his nose underneath Joe. Joe's shutting the door. What I hope is Frank paid attention at some point and saw that you get real low on fuel, that car's going to get a little squirrely. So I hope he's, with his spot right now. And Joe just sends it in there and says, you know what, I'm not going to wait for that to find out what happens.
Full send is what that was.
Full send, licked the stamp, drop it in the box, and sent it.
Did he go to the post office, or did he use like a tracking service?
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Ryan Otis wants a piece of the lead.
He actually, to fit this right, Express Mail Service is the fastest international mail service from Japan. So there you go. Take that back to the bank.
Frank Beeser going the wrong direction now.
Otis just
Ryan Otis blinking out?
Yeah, he's blinking in and out.
Uh-oh.
Well, he's back there.
Three wide
He's
to
gonna
the
do.
I don't know if
Jenkins gonna
Jenkins
try and make it work from the bottom.
I don't think Jenkins knew Otis blinked out. I think that's why he was stuck down there.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, my splash top just blinked out. I don't know what that. Three of us do. Big Joe to the lead. Here comes Mardi Gras. Here come those teammates, Callisto and Baldwin down low. Otis blinking again and again.
And again.
Oh,
Joe!
baby. Oh, Mardi Gras.
Gillette doesn't have anything on that. That was the closest shave.
Man.
Get right there.
Boy, Ryan Otis is, first off, in dangerous spot of just dropping altogether, and second off, has to be close to being told to get out of the way by race control. Because that is a mess right now.
What happened? I wonder what happened to our upholsterer, George Anzaldo. He's back there in that second.
So George had an issue on pit road that I was trying to understand, was being explained to me. When Beeser missed his pit stall, I guess it caused George to get held up because Beeser didn't maintain the pit road speed, because I think he was trying to find his stall. Okay. And so Beeser was actually warned for that, but because Frank was so slow, it cost George a bunch of spots on pit road, is what I'm told.
We'll explain that.
And now as a result, since Sandman apparently didn't get going on the restart, George is part of the second group that's buried 2.5 seconds off the lead pack from 12th on.
It seems like Otis's connection has kind of stabilized out too.
Kudos to the admins for giving them a minute to get sorted out.
Oh, problems out back. Put it out. I think that was Jenkins. I watched it happen. He kind of got tapped into the back of Kirby. Maybe it wasn't Jenkins. Now that I'm looking at it. It was a black car. Rigney. He drove it into the corner, and one thing led to another, and he taps the rear of that other car, and it just does a lazy spin.
Beeser and Rigney get together, and that's the second time that Frank Beeser's been up top, and kind of closed the door a little, although that time Rigney kind of sent it. I'm not sure that there's anything Frank could have done there. Well, I tell you what, Eleanor did a nice job getting that thing stopped before she hit the wall.
Yeah. Not surprising. The first part of the field going to stay out there.
I'm like anybody but Beeser should be pitting, really. I think Frank's the only car that need fuel. And even Frank said, whatever, we're staying out. Who needs fuel? I don't need no stinking fuel.
Wonder what 2 to green or would be? Should be. Okay. Well,
all right, why don't we take a break here, Brian? Give us a chance to refill our beverages. Maybe take a quick break. And we'll be back with the final 35 plus laps of this one. This is the Sim Experience 175 Twin Ring Motegi.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
"33 laps to go when we go back green here in the Sim Experience 175 at Twin Ring Motegi in Japan. I'm Jason Galvin. He's Brian Yazik. I'm Jed Yaman calling the shots behind the scenes. This is the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker on the iRacing Esports Network. Presentation tonight from the Global Sim Racing channel. Mustang pace car hangs a left. Big Joe Hassert stands on it. Green flag is back out, and the Big Joe Show takes the lead with 33 laps left in this 113-lap race. It's Big Joe, Dean Mall, Ryan Otis, Lionel Callisto, Taft Baldwin, David Altman, Eric Brock, Paul Jenkins, George Anzaldo back into the top 10, and here comes George Sandman with him.
Yeah, George got a better restart there and was able to maintain with that pack ahead. So as these guys start getting too wide, 3-4 rows deep, look for George in that 6 machine to try get back up into it and get a shot at it here by the end of it. But Big Joe is fighting off all comers right now.
Otis inside of Mull takes the lead. I think Ryan Otis has led the most laps in this race, although I'd have to see some sort of official chart. I don't know. Yes, does your scoring show you who's led the most laps? Mine doesn't.
It does not. I'm looking at Amjad's here. See if I can spot something.
Battle for the lead. Otis inside of Big Joe. Big Joe to the outside. Will he get the run? Otis back on the throttle. Keeps it tucked nice and low at the stripe. This lap's going to go to Ryan Otis back in front. Give it to the Oregon driver, and Big Joe's going to have to tuck in behind Otis here, I think.
He will. He's going to have to close that door before Rigney gets there. Because Rigney's also going to bring the riding shotgun teammates up of Teft and Lionel Callisto. Now you got 5 cars up there. Look at that green car back there. Eric Block. The guy was backwards on the track twice, and now when the money time is coming, he's in the 6th spot.
I hear Eric Block's a big fan of Danny Sullivan.
I spin to win, baby.
Just throwing that out there. Otis, Big Joe, Dean Mall's got his hands full of the riding shotgun teammates. Joe's going to pop out. Mall's going to go 3 wide. Here we go. Business picking up. 29 laps to go here at Twin Ring Motegi, and they're 3 wide for the lead into turn 3. Big Joe trying to keep it up top of Otis. Can't do it. Ryan Otis hangs on. Joe's going to cross him over down the front straightaway. Hassert's got a nose on Otis as they head into turn 1. Wheel to wheel they go for the lead through 1 and 2. New leader, Big Joe Hassert to the point. But here comes Otis and Mull right back.
There they go. Joe's going to go from the lead to the middle of the 3-wide sandwich here. He's got Mardi Gras to the inside and Ryan Otis to the outside. The riding shotgun drivers just watching, and Joe just sends it in from the middle. Gets a good run on quarter exit. Going to be able to keep both of them at bay at the time. There's a black and yellow car. I think that's David Altman. All of a sudden, where did he come from?
Welcome to the party, David Altman. Top 9 cars all tucked up. Sandman a little further back from them. Kirby as well, the kind of single file behind Altman. 2x2 from 2nd to 9th right now. Looking for the lead is Dean Mall to the inside of Big Joe. Otis to the outside. 3 wide once again as we head into turns 3 and 4. And the downshifting corner at Motegi back on the throttle in 4th gear for Hassert. Will bring it out and use that torque in this L79 to take the lead and cuts down in front of Mardi Gras. So I don't want you in front of me or inside of me as we get to turn number 1. Otis to the outside, doing a nice job holding off Mall. And now Big Joe's going to have to play the arrow wash game down the back straightaway and pick and choose who he wants to bring. It's going to be Mall who comes down low. Hassert to the middle. Otis pops up top again. 3 wide again into turn 1 and 2. And that wasn't the only spot on the track. They were 3 wide. Business has officially picked up with 26 laps to go as they come across the stripe, and almost a wreck between Hacker and Kirby as they came up off of 4. Right now, the top 13 cars is JP Winchell's up there as well.
Yeah, everybody knows the time is winding down. The give and take has become a lot more give and a lot less take. Big Joe swinging it back out to the top there. He's going to be up the top of 3 wide this time. Oh, wow. It was sending it from the bottom was that. Oh, and he hits the apron too. That is Baldwin that got it loose, and Joe from the top lane is going to make it work. That
Ryan Otis was all the way up there cleaning up the marbles. Starting a collection for his kids. Somehow able to hold on to it. Big Joe to the lead. Baldwin to 2nd. Mardi Gras right there. Callisto down low. Here comes Baldwin and Callisto. It's Taft up top. Will Lionel go low? No, not right now. Says, I'm just fine back here, boys. Big Joe able to pull about 2 cars on Taft. Baldwin up off of 4. And now they'll kind of restart the chase for the leader.
But still, though, Big Joe out front, maintaining that lead. He's in the spot that he kind of wants to be in right here. And they try and hold it in from the middle groove, which can be a little bit easier. Definitely going to fight off the run from the bottom. Nope. Car didn't quite rotate as good. Dean Mall getting a big run from the bottom. They're going to be side by side down the front stretch, but give that one to Joe that time. Not by much, though.
Dean with the position as they head off into turn 1. 23 laps and counting left in this one. Dean Mall to the front. The underdog of this group for sure, with the Majors teammates up there, and Big Joe and Paul Jenkins, the veterans of the Lionheart series as well. But it's Mardi Gras.
Oh, here goes Eric Block around, and he's going to collect another car. Put it out. It just got up there, and it got up, and it did a lazy spin. I don't know who ran into him. That was just wrong place. You see it right there. Kirby. Nowhere he could have gone.
Well, I tell you what, Eric Block, he got into the corner, and he was up top of Otis and Jenkins. And when he lifted and turned the wheel, it did the wobble. And we all know what the wobble means in the L79. It means you're going for a ride. And I tell you what, he chased it and chased it and chased it, and he was going to get away with it. But when it spun back down, Kirby just nowhere to go. If Kirby's not there, Eric Block would have spun and not hit a thing. So the caution out once again.
Yeah, Dean Mall did get around Big Joe Hassert there before the caution, so that will put Mall up to the lead. Big Joe 3rd, and then you got riding shotgun teammates there. Taft Baldwin, Lionel Callisto 3rd and 4th, and Paul Jenkins rounding out the top 5 right now, as we're going to be 21 laps to go here. Don't look past George back there in the 7th spot. We talked about the pit road miscue that kind of happened that did affect him, but the 2 cautions have led series founder, organizer, and just overall good guy. George getting back up there, and I bet you're probably going to hear something from that 6 machine before the end of this one.
This is the 7th caution of the Sim Experience 175 here at the Twin Ring Motegi. Sim Experience and the Sim Experience AccuForce Pro V2 Complete is the premier professional racing simulation steering system. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including that GS5 seat we talked about earlier, the Stage Series motion systems, and the SimVibe software, visit simexperience.com. Remember, you get a discount as well on that Sim Experience SimVibe software if you go to the website, simexperience.com, and use the promo code SimXLion. You get 5% off of that SimVibe software as well.
So what you're saying is X did give it to us.
X gave it to us.
Good.
Yep. First he stopped, and then he dropped. And
then he set up shop.
It's been too long, yeah.
It's a Rough Riders,
like
bro.
15 when that song came out. Not even. DMX, right?
Yeah.
DMX.
Yes.
Yeah. That song made for one of the funniest moments in one of my favorite, most underrated movies of all time. Down to Earth.
There you go. I was going to say, just going to let that. Was that?
Did you know it?
No, I didn't. I know the movie. Wasn't it? Down to Earth. Was that David Duchovny one? And what's his name? No, I might be thinking of the wrong one. Never mind.
Chris Rock. It's Chris Rock. Good old Chris Rock. You know, he's the wannabe comedian at the Apollo in New York, and then he ends up becoming some super rich white guy. It's just funny to think of Chris Rock as a wannabe comedian. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
You know it's not a wannabe. Minus 273.
No, minus 273 is not a wannabe. They are the premier name in karting gloves. You know, the industry-leading gloves, super lightweight, super durable, just like the belt line on my pants. Made from breathable poly spandex, whether you're a kart or sim racer. And I know there's a lot of drivers out there on the Lionheart series that do rock the minus 273 gloves. They do give you the control to reach for victory lane. For more information on minus 273's full line of gloves and apparel, visit www.minus273.biz. And don't forget, we love our promo codes around here. LHRS for 25% off.
Lights are out on the pace car. One more time around, and a reminder that you can also head to Butt Kicker's website, thebuttkicker.com, and use that promo code LION25 for 25% off there. Boy, we got discount codes for Clipping That Apex, and for Viva Motorsports, and for Plasma Tracks, and for iRacing iFlag, and am I missing anything?
No, iRacing iFlag, you know, you get 25% off there too.
I think Tyler Graphics will hook you up if you tell him the Lionheart series sent you as well with a little bit of a discount.
If you tell him that I sent you, he might charge you more money. So
well, that's only because you
specifically say that the Lionheart series sent you.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you go, hey, Tyler, you paint me a car? And you go, yeah. And he's like, all right, here's what I want. He paints it, and you're like, wait, I was thinking about this. So he does it. Wait,
dots?
What about now? Never seen so many revisions to a race car as Brian Yazik's. Lights are out on the Mustang. We're ready to go racing, and we're in the home stretch here at the Twin Ring Motegi. 18 laps to go in the Sim Experience 175. Green flag back out. Dean Mall, Big Joe, Taft Baldwin, look out.
Big checkup on the start there. I think Altman didn't go, Sandman didn't go, and then whoever else was back there they went scattering on the front stretch and set that all out. The first couple rows went going. Everybody else did not.
Somehow they've all managed to stay close enough to where I think they'll be okay. There's a gap from Otis to George, and as long as Sandman doesn't get around Inzaldo here, and he won't, I think George might be able to pull that gap back.
Big Joe with a power move there. He got it. A great run using the draft, sent it right up to the fence to the entry of turn 3. and drove it straight in, and that let him get side by side with Maul down the front stretch.
Here comes Baldwin. Here comes Callisto. Here comes Jenkins and Otis, and they've kind of opened up a gap back to David Altman. And that's going to be problems for those guys. About to get single file and try to chase this group down.
It's about to be Three's Company up there.
I think we're going to have a 6-car battle at the end without a caution unless something dramatic happens here. And it's been these same 6 cars for about the last 30 laps or so. Mardi Gras, Maul, Big Joe out in front, the teammates and Baldwin and Callisto, and then Paul Jenkins and Ryan Otis, who has been one of the 2 dominant cars of this event, along with Joe Hassert, sitting back there in the 6th spot, trying to strike 3 wide, and look out, Joe!
That car was wobbling. You could see the driver, you could see the hands on the inside the steering wheel. It was swatting flies inside that cockpit. It was kind of like
not gonna like that.
Tommy Boy. Seeing Tommy Boy, Chris Farley's going to look for bees or trying to get bees away.
Joe's going to stick it inside of Baldwin in 1 and 2 as a result. Baldwin and Callisto are going to kind of team up together. Paul Jenkins seems to be running with them. That works for me. All the cars look kind of the same. Makes it easy. Bright cars down low, black cars up top as they go into 3 and 4. Dean Mall out in front has to love what he sees out the side mirrors of that Lotus L79 right now. Mardi Gras opens up a 0.2 of a second lead with 14 laps remaining as we start lap 100 at the Twin Ring Motegi, and here comes Taft Baldwin. Baldwin pops to the outside. The Texan wants to go to the front. Big Joe right there as well. Will he make it 3 wide? He's thinking. He says, maybe not on this lap as Otis comes in down low. Jenkins drifts up. Look out, Callisto. They all get through there and sort it out. Up off of turn 4. The battle continues as Hassert squeezes it into the 4th spot. And Taft Baldwin's your leader at the stripe.
This is, there's no more give and take. There's no more time to think and plot. You've got to know what you have to do by this point in the race, or else you're instead of racing for the lead, you're going to be fighting for 13th. So you got these guys up here, Otis, Maul, and the riding shotgun guys, Baldwin, and Callisto. These guys have been up here. They know what moves work. They know where they want their cars to be. So getting this rundown here, now we're coming with 12 to go. This is where this is what's going to separate these guys out. This is where you got to know where you have to be, what you got to do.
The teammates, I almost think, and maybe they're not doing this on purpose, but it almost seems like Taft and Lionel are too dead set on being together, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And as a result, they keep trying to get linked up, and I'm not sure that it really matters at this point. And as a result, they've fallen backwards, and now they've got company because the whole field, and I mean the whole field, has caught this group as they've sliced and diced. That was exactly what David Altman and George Anzaldo and everybody else needed. We went from a 6-car pack for the lead now to a 15-car pack, all the way back to Tyson Landis, who I'm not sure I've said his name once since the grid, but he's in 15th and has every chance of winning this race as Big Joe Hassert does, the way things are going right now, as we're like 12 wide.
Put it in turn 3. Put it out. That was Altman. You could sense something was coming. The way that the intensity had wrapped up. You got Altman. There's a car upside down smoking.
Altman, Callisto, and George Anzaldo are the 3 cars wrecked, and none of them will finish this race. And boy, do you feel for Lionel Callisto, who spent the entire event basically in the top 5, and George Anzaldo, who crawled his way all the way back up into contention for a win. All for naught. Go on board with George Anzaldo, the series founder and the butt kicker. Sim Experience, number 6 car. Not a thing he could do.
Yeah.
That was just kind of an unfortunate meeting of the minds there. David Altman came up. He was trying to get the draft off of Taft Baldwin, and Lionel was holding his ground with his teammate in front of him. Together they came. If we had to blame someone for that, it'd probably be Altman, although I don't know. Like you said, Yaz, at some point that was coming.
Effectively, what you saw was it's kind of the old story of the finger that had it, or the boy that had his finger in the dam, and eventually the dam was going to burst, and it's just a matter of where, when, and how many people are going to get caught up in it. And unfortunately, for those drivers, they just happen to be right there when that wall of water hit. So we're going to be getting here. We're at 9 to go right now. Probably going to get the 1 to go, I would assume, next time. So it's going to restart us with 7 to go. I would probably say the 5 to go or 4 to go. Next flag is going to end it. So, I mean, if you're anybody up there in the top 5, you got to sniff at this. This is your time. This is the time now. You've got to go, and you've got to put yourself in that spot.
Well,
and maybe you don't. Maybe you thought maybe you didn't want to lead. With 4 to go.
No, you want to lead everything now.
But yeah, you want to be in front now because in case they do pile up again, you're in the lead, man. Easy win. And also shout out to George Sandman, rising up the grid, much like Metallica's first album did. Black Album rose up through the charts.
It rose up the grid.
It rose up the charts, rose up the grid. He started 25th. He's in the 6th spot now. So good job there, Sandman.
I see what you did there with
Sandman
and Metallica. Yeah. Was their first album Black? Are you sure about that?
I don't think it was the Black Album. That was the one that had Enter Sandman on it.
Oh, okay. Because you said that was their first album and that it rose up the charts.
I realized what I said.
Look, I'm just saying. Look, if we are going to be professional journalists here on the Global Sim Racing Channel and the iRacing Esports Network, we need to be accurate. Okay, yes.
I got you. I'm working the
no
Google
fake news here. No fake news here. Okay. Mardi Gras out in front. By the way, Dean Mall's gained 13 spots. Paul Jenkins up 13. Ron Hacker's up 14. How about good old Frank Beeser up 18 spots, searching for top 10, number 2 in a row. He's going to be, I'm telling you, Frank's going to be our permanent honorary driver profile after this one.
Yeah, he will. I mean, technically, back to the first point, Kill 'Em All.
Is that the first Metallica
album? That was
the
first, according to Wiki,
awesome.
The first studio album.
Fantastic.
Released July 25, 1983. Black Album, also just called Metallica, was the 5th release.
You know who I might go buy tickets to see as the lights are out and we'll have a restart in one lap?
Kenny G?
Go on sale tomorrow? No Kenny G for me, sorry. Blink 182 and Lil Wayne.
No.
Yeah.
I watched...
that sounds just crazy enough to be weird.
No. It's kind of like mixing watermelon and paint thinner. It's not quite... Not quite there. Like
okay. One combo will kill you, and the other one might just make your ears bleed.
Have you seen Lil Wayne? He looks like death.
That's
my wife and I were watching. Billy
right?
Eilish. Billy
one of the
Billy Eilish.
Billy
16-year-old
Billy
Eilish. No, Billy Eilish.
I know what you're talking about.
And my wife said she loves watching those things with me because my reactions, apparently I sounded like my face looked like a dog that kept hearing a weird noise.
What did you think when you heard Milli Vanilli for the first time?
You can skip their records and they'd have to skip themselves too.
Here we go. I hope that entertained you for the caution. Meanwhile, 6 laps to go. Dean Mall, Big Joe, Rhino, Taft Baldwin, Paul Jenkins. Who will win the Sim Experience 175? We're about to find out. Green flag back out with 6 to go. And if they get around one more time, the next flag will end this race.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I think Maul got a great start, but did he get too good of a jump? That's going to be the key here because he's going to have a good lead coming off of turn 2. But Big Joe sniffing that draft down the backstretch. Ryan Otis not wasting any time. He's going to go up to the very top of the track. Joe going to get the good run to the top side. Look at that. Big Joe, power move to the lead. Turn 4, 5 to go.
Big Joe Hassert trying to break the winless streak. Will lead them across the stripe, and as he looks in his mirror, they're 2 by 2 for second position, and that's everything Joe's ever wanted to see. Big Joe Hassert has one win in the Retro Series. It came at California Speedway and Auto Club Speedway in Season 1. Can he break the streak here? They're 3 wide with Baldwin in the action, and look at Mardi Gras to the outside. Dean Mall says not so fast. 4 laps to go. New leader, Dean Mall.
They were almost 4 wide for a second as Taft Baldwin was looking down to the inside and rode it. Ryan Otis was all the way up by the fence. Now Taft getting a big run in the middle of the corner. That big, long, sweeping 1 and 2. He's going to get a big run there, and he's going to shove Dean Mall way out to the outside. But I really feel that this puts Joe in a very bad spot going here into the corner.
Baldwin
he makes it
washes
work.
up.
Joe
Baldwin,
is driving like a man
Look
possessed.
out, contact. Baldwin and Mall. Dean and Baldwin bounce off each other. Here comes Ryan Otis, and Big Joe's the leader with 3 to go. Big Joe Hassert didn't want to run the Retro Series this year. He had issues in this car last year. He said, you know what, I'm kind of over it. Going to focus on IndyCar. Couple weeks before the season started, he talked himself back into it. That's what competitors do, and here he is trying to break the drought, but it's Baldwin who edges in front into 3. Look at Big Joe send it to the bottoms. They come up off of 4. 2 laps to go at Motegi.
3 miles of racing here. We got Big Joe. He's in the spot that he wants to be in. I doubt you're going to see that number 4 machine move very far away from the white line on corner exit and entrance. He's got his line figured out. He knows how to fight these guys off. It's going to take a big run from Taft or Dean or Ryan Otis or even Paul Jenkins or George Sandman back there to get a run at it. Now George is going to give up the middle here, but he's going to get that good run. He's going to give up the bottom and get the run from the middle. Mull wiggles on the bottom side. White flag is in the air. Big Joe is in the lead. Here we go. Jason, take it to us.
1.3 miles left here at the Twin Ring Motegi, and it's Joe Hassert leading Dean Mall with Ryan Otis and Taft Baldwin in tow. Mall tucked up to the inside. Joe will swing out wide. Who's gonna win the Sim Experience 175? Look at Taft Baldwin searching high and low. Into 3 they go. Mardi Gras gonna try to make it stick. Can't do it. Off of turn 4, it's a drag race. At the stripe, it's gonna be Big Joe Hassert winning the Sim Experience 175 at the Twin Ring Motegi. Joe Hassert's streak is over, and for the first time since 2017, Big Joe Hassert is a winner again in a Lionheart series, and he does it in the L79 in the Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker here at Motegi.
Oh, man, that was exciting. You see that big run there? He knew what he needed to do. I think Joe's running an extra lap he blew it up. Oh, no.
He blew it up before he could celebrate. I heard it.
I thought he was going to just break an extra lap just to make sure that he let him, but...
I thought he was going to do donuts, but so much for that.
Well, that one's over.
That was a great celebration, Joe.
I just detonated it.
Even when he wins, he loses. We'll have to talk to him about that after. What a finish here in the Sim Experience 175. We'll hear from Big Joe and the rest of the podium when we return on the iRacing Esports Network. What a race. What a finish. What a win for Big Joe Hassert in the Sim Experience 175 here at the Twin Ring Motegi, all part of the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker. And this is the Plasma Tracks post-race show. So take a look at the race results. Big Joe Hassert up on top of the Sim Pit scoreboard. Beats Dean Mall by 900ths of a second. Taft Baldwin, Ryan Otis, Paul Jenkins, your top 5. George Enter Sandman, Ron Hacker, Scott Holmes, Mike Eleanor Rigney, Cody Eldred, your top 10.
Tyson Landis in the 11th spot. 13th, Frank Beeser. Travis Jagerliner, that's another name we hadn't said basically since the start of the race, finishing up in the 13th spot with Chad Dalton 14th, Ken Hacker in 15th, the 16th going to Robert Blue and Justin Kirby. And you're going to start getting into the guys that had a little bit less of a stellar night as you've got where were we at? Justin Kirby 17th, 18th, JP Woodchittle, Adam Young in 19th, 20th, Eric Block.
From 21st on back, we run into the dearly departed George Anzaldo. Had such a great run, ended up in that wreck late in the race, along with Lionel Callisto and David Altman. George and Lionel were both potential winners in this race, taken out in that wreck. Pat Dotson in his series debut runs into some troubles. Chris Lanini, 25th. James Paulson, Stefan Schlocker, who spun out of the lead in 27th and took Dustin Wardlow and Joshua Gaiman with him. And then David Clymer in 30th, who pancaked the wall all by himself early on.
So speaking of pancaking the wall, and it's unfortunate we have to use that segment there, but if you want something great to put on your wall, if you want to pancake your walls in a good way, and the only way to do it, plasmatracks.com, plasma-tracks.com. If you know, original race art, motorsport trophies. This whole Victory Lane post-race show is brought to you guys by. I'm going to print that logo. I'm going to put it all over my room here. Motorsport trophies, home decor, motorsports fabrications. They ended up doing the Iowa Cornhole Tournament trophy for us last year, and that was an amazing looking trophy. Words cannot do justice the uniqueness of their wares. The only way to fully appreciate the artwork is to see it for yourself. But I'm telling you what, kids, one visit, just one, is all it's going to take. And the next thing you know, you'll be trying to convince your spouse, yourself, your wallet, your financial guru that you need a Plasma Track wall art hanging in your home. Plasma-tracks.com and promo code LRS2019 to get 25% off of your order at plasma-tracks.com.
Brian, will you can you help me financially plan for a Plasma Track?
I can make that happen for you.
I like
Let
it.
me, I got my stuff going.
They are incredibly affordable for the quality of work that they do. Speaking of quality of work, this man, the race winner tonight, drove a heck of a race. Big Joe Hassert and the Big Joe Show. My friend, finally, welcome back to Victory Lane in the Lionheart series.
Dude, it's been way too long. Three long years, man. It feels like an eternity. Oh, it was a tough one. Holy cow. I was on the edge of my seat. I hope I lived up to my name tonight, because I definitely felt like it on the track.
There were a few lick the stamp and send it moments in the broadcast booth for sure. Taking me through the last couple laps there in that restart with 6 laps to go, and you had Dean Mall out in front, and you were able to get around him, and then the Hornets' nest that was stacked up behind you. What was the strategy over those last 6 laps?
I wanted to be able to get that second lane. I felt like that's where I was the best. But everybody was just sending as hard as they could. You don't really, you have a parachute on when you're in front, and basically you went where everybody else put you. But I was able to, I don't know how. I think I was sideways a couple of times through 3 and 4, but I was able to get through 3 and 4 the best, where I think I was just beating everybody out of that corner. And I made sure that I positioned everybody behind me coming off a 2, so I could get my lane through 3 and 4. And once I stuck it in 3 and got back on the gas, then I knew. So It was a tough one, man. There was some hectic moments, some scary moments. It was crazy.
Is this the moment for you, bud? Is this kind of like that race where now that you've gotten this win, I know you and I have become great friends as teammates over the last couple of years in the IndyCar side, and I know how much you've kind of been pressing because you felt that pressure to get back to where you know you're capable of being, and one of the all-time winningest drivers in the Lionheart series on the oval side of things, and to finally kind of burst back through. Is this that moment you feel like for you where now the floodgates will start opening back up?
It's definitely a step in the right direction. It wasn't like 12 years or anything like Tiger Woods, but it sure as heck felt like it with every passing race. To know that like you've had this persona for 5 years and you haven't done anything with it for three. uh it's nice to just let everybody know, hey, I'm still here. I mean, I've had a bunch of races where I've been competing for wins and just haven't been able to finish it. um and it's been a rough stretch. We had a year of computer problems, a year of getting second, third, and fourth every race, and now this year I don't even think I had a top 10 until tonight. So finally, I think I can put myself back in the conversation, and that's where I want to stay.
Big Joe, I got to tell you, not too bad for a guy who 3 days from opening night wasn't going to race in this series.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I got to chime in really quick. Is that your new celebration when you win to just detonate the motor?
That has been my signature celebration since season one, since my
Has
first
it?
win.
All right.
Yeah, see, the problem, Yaz, is that we haven't been around enough to see his wins
All right.
to know that.
All right, I didn't know that.
Basically, the story behind that is everybody does burnouts, and I march to the beat of my own drum. You guys all know this, so I gotta do my own thing.
No. Come on, let's not be silly now.
Well, now we got to one up it, and if we go out there and win, now we got to wreck our cars or something.
It's okay. I don't know about that one.
Luckily,
Hey,
they're sim cars; they're not expensive.
that's true. Hey, Big Joe, just real quick, shout out for running Thumbs Up Cancer Down on the car. That's the first time that a car that has run Thumbs Up as its primary scheme in either series has won a race, and that means a lot to me. So shout out.
Wow, that's crazy because there's some quality guys. Oh wait, you guys that run the that car. Um, as we all know, I thought I was doing it to help you as a favor, and since you've been such a great friend, and then I had my own scare over the winter.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it didn't turn out what we thought it might have been, but things happen really weird like that, and it's crazy how you think just a little gesture can snowball into something, into meaning, into your own life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, bud. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Gateway, where I think you might have something to say about the win there as well.
If it's an oval, I'm in the conversation. That's all there is to it.
Brian, second place time.
Yeah, there we go. Dean Mardi Gras, buddy. So close to getting your first win tonight. Tell us about that battle there at the end with you and Taft, Ryan Otis. The Sandman was up there, and then obviously race winner Big Joe. What was that like? Racing door to door, wheel to wheel with all that.
It was an intense race. Definitely had a lot of fun. Congrats to Joe on the win. I know. Hopefully, put on a good show for the viewers, but it was real entertaining from in the car.
Jason and I up here in the booth, we were having a blast. Your car was the easiest to pick out. I love telling the story about how your paint scheme got designed, and I think now if you won with that one, would you have to retire that one and give that one to your daughter and like hang it up, or would you have to have her do a new one?
That's a good question. Haven't really come across that situation. Hopefully, I can get a win at some point this year and see what we need to do. But I had the situation I wanted tonight. I wanted to be inside going into 3, and I was there. Joe just stuck it on the outside, and I couldn't get the run in the middle I needed.
Now, is the car getting a little squirrely from that corner exit point up?
A couple times in the middle. Yeah, I was downshifting trying to rotate it to make that line work, and did for most of the race, but just got a little loose on that last run there.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, second place is never a bad spot to be in. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to before we send you on down the road to Gateway?
Yeah, just give a shout out to the team, iRacing Today Motorsports, and Chad Dalton. We've been testing together a lot this year. Definitely been helpful for prepping for the races.
Sounds good, Dean. We will see you on down the road. Have a good night.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Mardi Gras comes home second. Taft Baldwin jumps in now and comes home third. The Texas driver and your teammate Lionel Taft were up there all night long, and then Lionel just unfortunately kind of got caught out there at the end. You still had a chance. Those last couple laps, things got pretty dicey. How close do you think you were to being able to stick it in the lead and win this race?
I was about half a car width from doing that when Joe took the line that I wanted going into 3. I had the run on him. I was like, I'm just gonna slide this. Nope, no, he knew what I was doing. So Joe did it. I told Adam when Adam told me that I needed to come home with a top 5 tonight. I said, "Here, hold this envelope. I'm gonna lick the stamp."
We licked a few stamps in this race, let me tell you. You and Lionel seem like you two were working really well together. How much of an advantage is it when you get into a race like this where the draft and the line matters so much to have somebody who you trust and who's your teammate up there in the top 5 with you?
It was nice having the open communication, but at the same time, you have to be more considerate of that car because you don't want to be the guy that takes out your teammate. So it was kind of, we had to kind of accommodate each other. Whereas once Lionel was gone, I could just bully myself around, I guess, just be me.
Yeah, that's good. At Loud Pedal Motorsports, we have a strict rule about wrecking your teammate. It's called if you do, Brian Yazik kicks you off the team. So
Oh.
I learned that one early on. Tab, Brian was talking about you guys and your team are well known across the iRacing platform and big stars over in the Majors series, which I think I mentioned off the top for my money is the most versatile from a talent standpoint series out there, just because of the cars and the tracks and the open setups. How different has it been adjusting to a fixed setup situation and to running the same car week after week at different tracks?
I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball because everybody's been running the car for a while and they continue to, whereas I keep having to jump into a Nissan or a Gen 6, and that's what we run. And so it feels weird. Like I get into the car and start driving it and I start yelling because it won't do what I want it to do because this thing doesn't drive like anything that I've ever experienced before. So yeah, it's different. I'm liking it though. I think the more races we get in, the more comfortable I'm getting. And with these oval races, which I specialize in, just what I'm good at, it's going to be fun. I should be in the top. Should be right behind Joe every single race.
It was, I tell you what, but it was a lot of fun to watch you and Lionel and the whole team run there today. And I know that you guys are just going to continue to be up there. Strong showing to Phoenix last week, even better this week. And you get another shot at an oval next week at Gateway. Very similar track to this one, by the way.
Yeah, a lot less room, though. It's going to be more like Phoenix, where I'm just going to be yelling at my screen that I can't pass because of the aero wash.
I'm going to go ahead and just spoil the party for you right now and tell you if it's anything like last year, it's going to be more like Motegi than Phoenix, which with less room is going to be a whole lot of excitement.
That makes me happy. Gives me a lane to run pass in.
There you go. Taft, great job tonight. Great getting to know you here, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you.
Well, that is Taft Baldwin, and that's it for our post-race interviews here. Mr. Banker, Yazik, you got any final thoughts on this fine event at Twin Wing Motegi?
I mean, it lived up to the hype. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. We saw it in practice when you saw the guys out there 2, 3, 4 wide, and what we thought was just guys having fun. Really, and a lot of those people that were doing it, they were testing. They were figuring out what they could do with those cars and how they could make it work for them to get themselves into that winning position. And you saw it tonight. Big Joe, Dean Mall, Taft Baldwin, Ryan Otis. I mean, these guys all knew what they were doing going into it. They had a plan, they stuck to it, and they executed.
Partner fun race.
Heck yeah, man. Can't wait to do it next week.
Let's do it again in, I don't know, about 7 days or so.
Absolutely.
Want to thank Butt Kicker for jumping on board as the series sponsor in the Lionheart Retro Series this year, and for all of their support of the Lionheart Series now over the last year and a few months. Been great having them on board. Of course, everything that George Anzaldo does for the Lionheart Series, for both series, and his great admin team that he has assembled that work tirelessly to bring you these events and the great information that we have as broadcasters and when we're behind the wheel to bring us the great events that we get to compete in. A big shout out to all the software and hardware providers here on the Global Sim Racing channel and on the iRacing Esports Network. You see some of these companies that help sponsor the league on the screen right now, and some of the companies that help make it happen for GSRC are popping up for you next here. Shout out specifically to June Lalonde, who provides the wonderful music that you hear throughout the GSRC broadcast. You can see the screen right now. More information on how to get a hold of her great work, go to that website right there. Shout out to our broadcast team today, the banker Brian Yazik, Amjed, Dougie. Great broadcast that we had for you here, and we're working on another one for you next week. But if you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you should do us a favor, go to globalsimracingchannel.com. You can see the archived races, the upcoming broadcast as well. Don't forget, subscribe to the Esports Network if you're not already. You're on the page right now. And then search for Global Sim Racing Channel and subscribe there as well, because this race will get archived there in a couple weeks, and then more races and et cetera, et cetera. You see races coming up. The Lionheart IndyCar Series going to Belle Isle. Brian Yazik was like, guys, I got a great idea. Let's run 2 races at Detroit. Great job, Yaz.
Put the LPM colors on it, too.
Yeah, great job, Yaz. We'll see if I get to lap 3. I think I'll be the highest finisher on our team. That'll be interesting. But before we get to Belle Isle and the doubleheader in the IndyCar, we got to do it in the Retro Series. Again, we mentioned it next week at Gateway, the 16th of the month of May. The Sinbad Vapors 200 in the great state of Missouri. We've got some other great races as well. You see cycling through coming up here on both the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure you mark them down on your calendar. Batteries not included. That's a fun league. Never watched one of those races. That's going to do it for us here from GSRC. Until next time, just remember, no matter how good or bad your race went, a day with racing, a day with Brian Yazik is better than a day without. Good night, everybody.